I'm very excited to talk to my guest, Christopher Hedges, who I've talked to many times before, the author of one of my favorite books, War is a Force That Gives Us Meaning. And of course, this baby, I Don't Believe in Atheists. On book stands now here. The tone I'm getting from your stuff on entertainment, on overpopulation, and on politics, and your support of real socialism, says to me, and I thought about this morning as I was reading it, that the four horsemen are here. War, famine, plague, and death are upon us. And what I'm impressed with in how you handle it is that you seek a rational voice.
Yeah, because either we learn to live with severe limitations and change our lifestyle, or we continue to exist in a culture of illusion. The attempt to resurrect a financial system that was based on borrowing and consumption is lunacy. It's never going to come back. We can pump as much money as we want into AIG and Goldman Sachs and Citibank and the rest of them, but it's a false economy. It's an economy of consumption. I didn't vote for Obama. I voted for Nader, but I have a kind of sympathy for him. I mean, I'm certainly much happier that he's there rather than the dreaded George Bush.
Right.
But he has surrounded himself with people who serve the system. Many of these managers spent their professional careers empowering the engine that created the financial collapse that we live in. And I'm worried that we are going to waste what few resources we have left, because essentially what they're doing is borrowing massive amounts of money that they can never pay back. I mean, the reality is they can never pay it back.
What we're up against is the power of this illusion that you speak of, that is not God, that is a false God, if anything, leads people to engage in a narcissistic disposition, completely entrenched in denial, and I don't know if it's surmountable.
The danger of continuing to exist in a culture of illusion, in believing that we can have everything we want, that it's just a matter, as Oprah tells us, and the Christian right tells us, and corporatism tells us, and the consumer culture tells us, and celebrity culture tells us, that if we just dig deep enough and find that inner strength, we'll build sort of the paradise of our desire. The danger of that is that already the walls are falling around us, and yet we cling to this illusion. And my fear is that when things finally crumble to such an extent that we can't ignore it, we have, in effect, by clinging to illusion, remained in a state of childishness. And we will then reach out for saviors, for demagogues, for people who will save us, because we've never grown up. We've never confronted the reality around us.
My fear in what you're saying is that we don't really know what it looks like for the number of people that are going to all of a sudden have nothing, be desperate, be angry. I mean, the possibilities of this becoming totalitarian just in terms of a police state seem to me to be high.
Yeah, very high.
That if they're going to get out, they're desperate, and crime is obviously going to go up, but depending on how quickly it happens, it seems that a totalitarian fascism would be easily legislated.
Yes. Well, everything's ready to go. And, as Orwell wrote, the two fundamental tactics that totalitarian systems use are fraud and force. Well, we've already seen the fraud. Mm-hmm. The question is, when will we see the force?